Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to do issue 11 of The Silencer from DC Comics. A beautiful looking cover. I believe it's been done by Tyler Kirkham. And he's also, you can say he's a veteran. I mean, he does he did a lot of comics in the past. So let's dive in. And, I'm going to show off this one. Immediately, the art, spectacular. And I'm going to show you much more. I was not familiar with this artist, and I'm going to look him up. I'm going to look an eye out. Keep an eye out. That's the word. Keep an eye out for this great looking artist. That came out wrong. The artist with great looking art. I don't know how the artist looks like. Well, it's been made by Jack Herbert and Dan Abnett, and Tom Derenick is the penciler. And it's freaking awesome. And so it seems that Silencer and I believe this creature is called Michael. I mean, see my last issue, see issue 10, and he's been transformed into this creature by his mistress, the sorceress Wishbone, and he cannot turn back, and he wants to get revenge. And then we have, of course, Quietus here, his severed head. And they are here at the castle of Talia. And they want to get in, but they're getting immediately attacked by, cyborgs, body mods, modifiers, or whatever you call it. And I love these small details, It seems normal, but we don't, I mean, for me, it is when somebody shoots and it hits. As an example, all these bits flying around. These small little details tells me that this artist cares about immersion and storytelling, visual storytelling. I think that's important. For me anyway. Even this, look at this kinetic impact while Quietus shoots some kind of a laser out from his head. Looks freaking fantastic, and this guy's blasting forward. It's just awesome. So Quietus and Michael are going in, and she makes some cool jokes here. Now, speaking of great art, here's Quietus' husband, and he is angry because his wife is missing, and they can find her, and this woman who was probably from the rescue department or something, counting all these people. Cannot find his wife either. No, of course not, because she's on a mission, but he doesn't know that. And but he is also, sad that what about his son, because his son asking questions, hey, where is Mama? And he cannot, give him these answers, and he feels very lost. Meanwhile, our heroes, if you can call them that, are in the castle right now. And they are at the Lazarus Pit, and then we see Lady Wishbone here in her wheelchair. What I find a little bit particularly weird is that there is no guards, there's no security, there's no League of Assassins, there's nothing. There's nobody that you could walk in. And maybe there's a reason for that, but there is a reason for that. But if I were them, I would think, hey, what's going on? Is this a trap maybe? Where is everybody? But that's not really the case. So that I give it a minor point, a minor point, a -1 point. Maybe that's it. And so Lady Wishbone sits there, and Silencer says, is that her, Michael? Your mistress Wishbones? He says, that's her. And then he immediately attacks her and then screams at her from basically said, you need to turn me back or I'm gonna hurt you. But before he can do that, he is getting hit by some kind of an invisible force. And he says, and Quietus says, what happened? And she says, somebody hit him, something invisible. Oh man, he says, it's Reyes. Now, who's Reyes? He was introduced in the last issue, I believe. And he's here. And it seems that Reyes is basically exactly like the Silencer, except that what she does with sound, he has a way with light. And I think that is so cool. And although his costume is not really that spectacular, there is something about that costume that I think, oh man, that looks cool. I don't know what. Maybe it's the all these dots on there. Maybe it's the color scheme. Maybe it's those stripes. Maybe a combination. Maybe it's his mask. I cannot really put my finger on it, but he looks like a really cool assassin. And then he says stalemate. And but then Wishbone says her two most perfect killers, the silent and the unseen. I like that sentence so much. It's going to be my title of this video, by the way. But also, I wanted to add that wouldn't it be cool that these guys team up in a comic and just call the silent and the unseen? That is so cool. I mean, it's just like, I don't know, Hawk and Dove or Cloak and Dagger, you know, something like that. The silent and the unseen. It has some mystery surrounding that name. But unfortunately, DC, after this comic, well, not after this comic, but the series is over, DC has done nothing with this character. And I have an opinion about that. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it later or now, but I really, I think it's sad because, okay, let's go a little bit deeper into that, what I'm trying to say. I really enjoyed this series. And what I mean with that is this series ticks for me all the boxes. It has cool art. It is consistent. The writing is on point. Sure, there are here fillers and maybe some weaker parts, but overall it's consistent. You know, it has a cool protagonist that is new, it's fresh. It has a cool backstory. It involves a old Batman, quote unquote, lover villain, you know, from the past. And it has some new, fresh, villains that are interesting. You know, they are not throwaway villains. They are still coming back into this comic, you know, keeping the pace forward. And, you know, keeping the pace forward, that's not the real word. But, you know, the pacing is then... let's forget that part because I'm rambling again. But yeah, like I said, and it all ticks the boxes of all these crazies. You know, she is a POC, she's a strong female character, but she is not over the top invincible. She has a family, she has worries, she has emotions. She cares, but she is also a hard killer when she needs to be. So overall, this is basically everything that, you know, these lunatics want, except that she's not gay or trans. But I think, and I could be wrong, that this came out in 2019, this came out in the wrong era. Because in 2019 and before that, I believe 2016, 17, all these quote-unquote activists, in my opinion, are infiltrating Marvel Comics and DC Comics and, you know, change everything that people liked and people want for a very long year. Race swapping, you know, it's, you know the whole spiel. I'm not going into that. And finally, we have a character that, although she's POC and is a strong female character, this is done right. But it came out, I believe, in a time that people are fed up being, vilified for having an opinion or speaking out that they don't like certain characters being changed into what they are not. You know, when it comes to sex change, race change, whatever, you name it, background. And a lot of people left, including me. I just came back a couple of years ago into comics because I was done. I couldn't do it anymore because I was burned out of all these mediocre stories. And then when I find the Silencer and I think, man, this is so exciting to read. I wish I had more comics. So I have now the whole collection. And although I haven't read any book as of yet, I know there is no follow-up after this. There is no Silencer volume. There's 3 volumes. That's the whole complete set. But, you know, there's no follow-up after that. They just say, okay, this character isn't selling. we're gonna stop and we're gonna put her in the icebox. So there's, as far as I know, no cameos, no, I don't know, other appearances with her. Maybe I could be wrong. Maybe you hear one or two, but still there are no new Silencer comics, and it sucks because I'm really invested in this character, and I don't know, it just makes me a little bit sad, you know. Okay, that's my rant. Sorry for doing this because I wanted to continue the story, but I just wanted to get this off my chest that it's just, it is what it is. Okay, guys. Thank you for sticking around. I really appreciate that. I hope you are not all too, annoyed with my ranting all the time. Again, going back to Race and the Silencer. Race says to her, "If I wanted you dead, you'd be dead. You deal in silence, but it's time for you to listen." That's a cool sentence. And she says, "All right, I'm listening." And then he leads her to the next room. And then everyone is here. Every one of Leviathan. All of them. All these monsters, all these criminals, all these people with biomods, all these robots, if you can call them robots. Let's call them cyborgs. Modified monsters, demons. But then Michael says, Wishbone, she says, it's time for everyone to listen. Even you, dear Michael. And Michael is now more quiet down and he says, please turn me back. I'm hurt. Can you do it? But she says, "Oh, if only I could, Michael. My power's gone, burned away. You were right. I pushed too far. But it was worth it. Because everything is now into place and I've done what was asked of me." Okay, poor Michael. He cannot ever turn back into who he was. He's going to be a monster forever. And again, look at this page. Just great. And so Ray says, this is what's left. This is everyone who, survived the whole power struggle. And they are here in one place. And he says, Mistress Wishbone's lures were irresistible, but Silencer is not very comfortable. She thinks this is a trap. And then out of nowhere, now look at this gorgeous page. Talia Ghul is back. She's been resurrected, and we see this look on Silencer's face. And she says, "I'm too late." But Talia says, "The war is over." Damn, I cannot get enough of this art, man. This looks so freaking cool. So she's gonna explain something. So everybody is surprised and they are pointing, guns at her. And she says that basically the long version short is, I'm gonna read it. Why not? "Leviathan is the greatest invisible force on Earth. I built it with my bare hands. It will change the world. But it was bloated, riven with infighting and divisional rivalry. It was not fit to achieve its aims. It was time to purge and renew. I was driven out and the rest of you scrambled for supremacy." And basically, she says that it was all deliberate. Everything what happened, this whole war, and that she is being, set up, it was all a ruse. She did that because she wants to weed out the bad apples. And it worked. It cost her her life because, she was dead. So that was a big gamble. And she says, but now that exercise is finished. And she wants to, take back control of Leviathan. She says, "I engineered internecine, is that how? I'm not sure what that word is. Conflict to disinfect our organization." And he says that some has passed, some are not, some are remain loyal, some are try to take over, but because they care about Leviathan, not because they want to destroy it. And then she also says that she is now being in control again, and that she also realizes that everyone can kill her now. But she also says that without her, there is no Leviathan, because everyone is fighting for control, and it was a mess. People died left and right, and it created chaos. And now she says, my exercise has clarified that Leviathan is nothing without me. You were all too busy power grabbing and killing one another to make Leviathan effective. I was never merely the boss of Leviathan. It cannot exist without me. And then she says, I am Leviathan. And look at this face, this face of pure confidence. She's going to tell everyone who is the boss, although she has no powers at all. But she controls it. She controls the room. She controls the narrative. She commands and demands respect. And the artist did an amazing job reflecting that. It's so incredibly cool. I have amazingly respect for the writing and also the artist depicting that, what's happening here on screen. Well, on the page, by the way. And she says, this war is over. Let us move forward. And then she says, face the future pledge to me now, or kill me and Leviathan dies here. Well, and then they all bow and they say, oh, hail Leviathan. And she is laughing and everybody is yelling and cheering. And even Quietus reluctantly says, damn it all hail. And even Marcus. He says, very good. And then she looks, look at this art, man. It's so cool. She's not entirely pleased. And then she says, in the last page, well, we all knew what's going to happen. There was always one, isn't it? And it's of course, Silencer, who stands defiantly, not bowing, not cheering. And that's the end of this book. It's, like I said, I'm completely invested in this whole book because it's just so well written. Guys, let me know what you think about this comic. Am I right? Am I rambling too much? Am I wrong? Maybe, yeah. Just tell me what you think about what's happening now. Is this a cool book for you? Do you want to pick it up or not? Is this something you like or dislike? Let me know in the comments. Give me a like, give me a share, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye, guys.